Hey there, everybody. This is David McKeever. I'm with Richard Hundley. We are real estate brokers in Stockton, California, and our name of our company is Advance One McKeever Real Estate. This is our Ask the Broker show and podcast. So on today's show, what we're going to be talking about is what everybody has on their minds. It seems like getting tons of questions about what's going on in real estate in the Stockton area and basically where we think it's going to go, where we think it's going to go after we're done with our shelter in place and this COVID-19 pandemic is over with. So, Richard, so let's just talk about what's going on in the marketplace. You know, what are you seeing as far as trends are in Stockton right now?
Okay, well, right before the shelter in place started, it looked like we were getting ready to take off. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the shelter in place took a lot of buyers and sellers basically, let's say, out of the market, which we just did the trends for the last month, and that showed exactly those numbers that we went down in our purchases and our pendings.
Yeah.
But our listings went up a little bit. And I don't know, it just kind of looks like now that the doors are opening again, let's call it that we're going to very possibly have a very good summer with prices already going up. We're seeing a lot of action in our office. Mm-hmm. Listings are selling at full price or more. Lots of closings. Not a lot of listings yet, but picking up. And I know, David, you had some examples too.
Yeah, I think you're right. When the shelter in place happened, the amount of showings just dropped off.
Yeah.
People are uncertain, and rightly so. They're just uncertain about what's to come, and fear kind of took a hold of a lot of people. I think that's just something that happened. But the market here in the last 3 weeks has really picked up some steam. For example, I'm working with one client. She fell in love with this house, and she made an offer. Well, there were 6 other offers on the house. And the home was listed at $399, and the agent told me it sold for $425. So $25,000 over asking price on that particular home.
That doesn't sound like a slowdown to me.
No, and that was here in Stockton. I had another buyer in Sacramento who made an offer. Now, he made an offer on a house that had been on the market for 37 days. So that's basically into March. And the house had basically sat there for a long period of time. Well, Saturday before last, we went and looked at the home. There was somebody out front also looking at the home. He decides he wants to make an offer, and which we did. And all of a sudden, she has 3 offers. So it sat for 3-4 weeks, no activity, and just recently, lots of activity. And unfortunately, he didn't get the house, but it just shows the activity's picking up here in April and into May, the tail end of April into May.
It sounds like the buyers and sellers are coming out already, and it sounds like you're going to be showing homes next weekend.
Yeah, right. Very rightly so. There's a company called Showing Time, and Showing Time, they track the national amount of showings and the trends amount of showings that buyers are over the United States. And there's an interesting chart where it really drops off the amount of showings into mid-March to the end of March, and then it kind of leveled off. But if you look at the chart, the last few weeks, it's just the amount of showings is going up at a 45-degree angle.
Whoa, taking off.
So the buyers are returning to the market. Now.
That's a good sign. Obviously, the sellers already are, based on the trends we did that last month had more listings than normal.
Yeah.
And when the buyers come back, I don't see anything else happening but this market taking off. So buyers, I would really think about getting out there as soon as possible, because less competition now than there will be in about another month. Sellers, you're getting prime price right now and overprice. Good time. Everybody's coming out. Everybody's tired of being sheltered, and the market's going to be good. We're excited about it.
So I'll play devil's advocate real quick. What do you say to the folks that say, hey, we have unprecedented job loss, people aren't going to be able to pay their mortgages, we're going to see foreclosures spike, and that's a pretty valid concern, I think, that people have.
Oh, it is.
What's the response to that? And I'll want to hear yours, but I'll give you mine.
Oh, well, Mr. Newsom, please put people back to work. That is going to be a little bit of a problem. I think some people are going to fall behind on their payments. And as typical, if people fall behind on their payments, they might not recover. So that could be a bad thing. So we really need the rest of everyone out there to get back to work so that this market can really take off. So there might be a little negativity there if the lenders handle it right and just maybe divert those payments to the back of their payment and just let them have a clean start again. We'll be a lot better off. But we need these small businesses and jobs to open up, and we need them to open up as fast as they can, and that'll be the final step in full recovery.
Yeah.
So I think a little bit of a bump in the road and then the takeoff.
Yeah.
That's what I see.
Yeah, and regarding the foreclosures, I think we learned a lot from 2008 and 9. It's still fresh in our heads. That
was a real learning experience.
Yeah, so I think the banks are now willing to help people more so with the forbearance programs.
Yep.
They're giving them some time. They don't want to foreclose on all these homes, and I think
no.
The other interesting thing, what's different between right now and 2008, there's one very big difference, and one of them is being the amount of equity in homes. In 2008-9, values dropped. People were maxed to the tilt with their mortgages, so they owed more than the home was worth.
Yeah.
And nowadays, it's the opposite. People have equity. We've had, from 2012 to 2020, we've had a nice run-up in prices. People who've bought in that time period have equity. And I think if somebody's having a financial issue and not paying their mortgage, they're going to be able to sell the house, walk away, and get
Right.
$30,000, $40,000, $50,000. They're not underwater. So I think they'd most likely go to sell the property if they had to, versus just letting it go. People were just walking away in 2008.
Oh,
they didn't care.
totally.
They'd walk in the bank and drop off their keys.
Right, they were upside down so bad
They
that
didn't care.
They didn't care about
Now
the house.
people are going to care because the majority of people do have equity in their homes.
Yeah, you're not going to walk away from a check, $10,000, $20,000. I mean, I think someone in our office is dealing with one right now where he's got $400,000 equity and he's in default.
Yeah.
But thank you, bank, they have not even issued a sale date yet.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. We're going to sell his house for him and get him out from under it, and he's going to put a huge check in his pocket. So you're right, David. I think that's because of having equity this round, way less damage is going to be done than back then when everybody was upside down because of the market falling and them not caring.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely. I think it's people don't want to walk away from that. So, that with the help with the banks, going to allow people to get back on their feet. If we were to see foreclosures, and the government, by the way, is stopping all foreclosures processes right now at the moment.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so they're allowing us to get through this. If we were to see foreclosures, the person has to go 3 months or more. The bank has to file a notice of default, which leads us into August, September. And then there's a whole foreclosure process of when they can start again. If we're going to see foreclosures, it's not going to be till 2021 when the banks can actually go through the foreclosure process with the counties. So it'll be some time before we see foreclosures.
At bare minimum, it would be 6 months, really probably longer. And thank you, California. A lot of banks aren't, they might be putting them in default, but they're not putting a sale date on, meaning they're really not planning on foreclosing. That's a good thing.
Yeah. So one last topic. Where do you think home prices are going? Like, is this pandemic going to cause, and I think we know that your opinion and my opinion, but where do you think home prices are going to go in 2020 and then maybe if we can get into 2021?
I think as early as next month, we're going to start this. It's, you know, the recovery is basically there in everybody's mind except for those poor people that haven't got to open their businesses and go back to work yet. But everybody else is kind of starting to come out of the woodwork, let's call it. And that's why we're starting already to take off. I foresee as much as 5 to 10% increase between now and the end of the year.
Wow.
Believe it or not.
That's
very
a
pretty good spike,
yeah,
I would say.
spike.
And I think in our next couple of trend videos that we'll actually start seeing that. So I think good things are getting ready to happen in real estate. So buyers get out there, sellers, good time to sell.
Yeah, I don't know if my outlook's that aggressive, 5 to 10%. I think we're going to be a little more flat in prices here in the next few months, and then probably a strong into the year. Zillow, I was looking on Zillow, their forecast, they actually think prices will come down a little bit in certain markets.
Oh, I agree with that. I think the Bay Area, I think the LAs, the bigger markets, I think they will drop. So
the higher end price point.
Yeah, that'll make,
okay.
My prediction is for right here in the Stockton area, I think we're going to go up.
Okay.
But I don't think that for the bigger areas, 90 miles away, the Bay Area, I don't think they're going to go up because they're already way up there. LA, kind of the same thing, you know, maybe San Diego. Some of the bigger markets, I agree with you, flat, maybe even down.
Yeah.
I think right here in the Stockton area, maybe even Sacramento.
A little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, and because we're lower in price and just have that room to be pulled up by the bigger markets, like happens every few years anyway.
Yeah, there's another company called CoreLogic. You've heard of them, and they do a lot of market forecasting and that sort of thing, and they actually see a uptick in home prices going into the end of 2020. So that's kind of my thought process. It could be flat for, you know, May, June, but I think after that
it's gonna
get
go.
a bump.
And my prediction is totally for local, not for the whole state, because the bigger markets might change those numbers a little bit. But locally here, us in Stockton, I think it's going to be good. You know, Manteca, Tracy, I think all the way up to Sac, down Modesto. I think all those will have ticks up.
Yeah.
We'll have a good market.
Well, that's great. Yeah. Well, hey guys, thanks for listening in today and watching. If you're on YouTube, you know, hit subscribe if you want to see more of our shows here in the future. You know, we have all sorts of different topics, from talking market real estate, talking Stockton, talking with other agents and giving tips and all sorts of things around real estate. So we'd love to see you come back. That's basically our talk of the market for today in Stockton. If you want to say anything, close it out. We're going to go ahead and end the show.
Hey, we'd love to hear your opinion. Please just say something below, because that might help our next Ask the Broker show. Might help swing our opinion one way or the other. We'd love to share your opinions too. So we'll be looking for your opinion along with ours for next week.
And if you have a question that you'd like us to answer on our Ask the Broker show, go ahead and send us an email down below, McKeeverRealEstate@gmail.com, or leave a comment and we'll get that answer question on the next show. Thank you for watching.